Week 15 of the fantasy basketball season. And here's a few centers I would cut this week and drop off my roster. The first guy, Onika Okongwu of the Atlanta Hawks. So Okongwu, he had some decent lines over the last few weeks here. But now his numbers have dropped off a bit on the season. 9.2 points a game, 6.2 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 1.8 blocks a game, and 74% from the field. In the last couple weeks, though, 9 points a game, 6.3 boards, 1.1 assists, 2.3 blocks a game, and 74% from the field. So right here, he was putting up numbers like I mentioned, but his playing time is taking a hit now with Clint Capella back in the lineup. So the last few games here for Anku, January 19th versus Minnesota, 17 points, 8 rebounds, an assist, a steal, 5 blocks, 62% from the field. January 21st versus the Heat, 6 points, 4 rebounds, an assist, a block, 66% from the field. Then January 23rd at Charlotte, 5.7 rebounds, an assist, 2 blocks, and 50% from the field. So right here, like I mentioned, his playing time's gone down over the last few games. Clint Capella's back, and he only played 16 minutes in that last ball game. So right now, owners have dropped him in 5% of fantasy leagues. And with his playing time going down, and obviously the production, he's an easy center to drop this week. The second guy is Daniel Gafford of the Washington Wizards. So right here, I mentioned Gafford as a drop last week, and some owners went out there and got him off their roster, but he still owned him 55% of fantasy leagues. With Thomas Bryant back in the mix here for Washington, he's definitely not going to be playing as much minutes as he did early in the season. And Thomas Bryant, he's been a good player over the last few years before he went down with that ACL injury. But now that he's back, Gafford's definitely going to take a hit in his playing time. On the season, 9.1 points a game, 6.2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1.6 blocks, and 69% from the field here for Gafford. But the last couple weeks, only 5.6 points a game, 3.1 rebounds, and 69% from the field. So obviously those numbers aren't good. And he's had pretty much empty stat lines over the last few games. January 19th versus the Nets, 8 points, 3 rebounds, a block, 100% from the field. January 21st versus the Raptors, 8 points, 5 boards, a steal, 60% from the field. Then January 23rd versus the Celtics, 2 points, a rebound, and 100% from the field, but only 11 minutes played. So the last few games, 12 minutes, and 11 minutes. And that's not going to cut it for fantasy owners. A guy only playing 12 minutes a game here, so he's an easy drop. This week is Gafford. And the third and final center I would look to drop this week's Kevin Love of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So Kevin Love, he was on a good run for about the last month here. But now the Cavs, they got a lot of guys back in the lineup. Jared Allen's came off the protocol list over the last few weeks. Lauri Markkanen came back, even though he's been banged up over the last few games and went back on the injured list here. And Mobley as well was on the safety and protocol list for a while. So Kevin Love, he's still producing decent numbers on the season, but his playing time's definitely taking a hit here, and his stats are going to go down. He had a good stretch of games earlier in the month and late December, but now it's gone down for him. January 19th at Chicago, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and a 3. January 22nd versus OKC, 6.6 rebounds, 2 assists. So the last few games here, he's only playing about 20 minutes a game, is Kevin Love. And I don't know if you could get enough production out of him with only playing that amount of time in the ball games, especially with good centers like Mobley and Jared Allen in the lineup. So right here in 10-team leagues, I definitely would cut Kevin Love because he's just not putting up the numbers right now. But he could definitely turn it around and get more playing time if someone goes down with an injury or if he gets traded somewhere and they play him more. But right now, I would drop him this week in shallower leagues. So that's a few centers I would drop here for Week 15 of the fantasy basketball season.